Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Tech Home Builder webcast. I'm your host, Anya Chrisanthon, and joining me today is Josh Miller. Josh is with Power Marketing. So welcome to the webcast, Josh. I'm so excited to have you on.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So today we wanted to talk about some of the changes that are coming in mid-June of 2021 with Google ranking. So we all know that it's very important to rank on the first page of Google, and we try to do so much to invest in SEO so that we are showing up there instead of our competitors. Now, I know that Google is constantly changing their algorithm and the way they rank our pages, but I know there's some major changes that are going to affect everyone as of June. So I wanted to have Josh on today's show so that we can talk through some of these major changes so that you can be prepared and know exactly what to expect. Now, before we get started, Josh, if you don't mind giving us a quick background on who you are and why are you qualified to talk about this?
Well, yeah, with Power Marketing, I've been working in digital marketing for over 6 years, and really and then traditional media before that for over 8 years. So a little background from both kind of traditional and digital there.
Awesome. Great. All right. Well, let's just dive right into it and tell us what to expect. What's coming? Why are they making this change? And what are the changes?
Well, great. Yeah. There are updates that happen on a smaller level, minor ones, day to day. But there's a larger scale, kind of broader updates that affect, rankings on a bigger scale, kind of like the mobile friendly update or, the HTTPS update there. And so this is another big one that is a broad update coming, originally scheduled for May, but now kind of pushed back a little bit to mid-June here. So coming up soon. Obviously, they gave people a lot of time to get kind of prepared for this, and they put out a lot of information and resources to help people kind of guide them for what's coming up here.
Okay, so let's talk about the three major changes. So mobile friendly, load speeds, and HTTPS security. So let's start with mobile friendly. So obviously, Google is going to penalize you if your website is not mobile friendly, and I assume mobile friendly first. And that's definitely been a big topic of conversation for home builders. As we know, most people are constantly on their device. So I think with pandemic, it was a little bit interesting to see where the traffic is coming from as far as is it on desktop, is it on mobile? And I was surprised that there was more desktop traffic than I expected, but I guess that's due to the pandemic. Everyone's sitting in front of their computer searching, but then at nighttime, as you can expect, mobile devices are the predominant device. And then of course, if you're in one of those states where business as usual and people are actually out driving around on the weekends looking for your model homes, obviously they're going to be on their mobile device. So I think that one speaks for itself, but Josh, tell us a little bit more about this change.
Yeah. So, as people use their phone more and are, on the go and mobile, especially now as people are getting kind of back out to, pre kind of pandemic kind of environments, they really, it's a focus of providing the best experience for users. Before Google really was looking to provide you the best content for your search query. And so now they're really kind of adding in another good, piece of that, of not just great quality content, but a great experience at that same time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, user experience has certainly been a really hot topic. And I think all the major platforms are starting to consider that as a predominant factor. So, user experience. So, think about the user experience on your website, right? Is it what your customers are searching for? Is content easy to find? Are they spending a lot of time on the website poking around? You think, oh, this is great that they're searching, they're spending so much time on my website, but maybe that's because they're not finding the stuff that they're looking
Yes.
for. So you definitely want to reevaluate your website very often now that technology is evolving at such a crazy rate and things are changing very quickly. So you really want to take on that perspective from your customer's shoes and see what they're experiencing when they are interacting with your website. So, for example, if you are running social media ads or Google ads or any sort of ads, it drives me crazy when you click on the ad and it says, say, a particular house is shown, and I want to find out more about that house, and I click on it and it takes me to the homepage. No, no, no. I don't want to see the homepage. I want to see this house.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's taking into account things like this and really considering not just the information that you're providing, but how are you providing that information to your user?
Yeah, it's really, putting yourself in the shoes of your user and kind of walking through the experience from their point of view. You can get a lot of great insight in looking at competitors as well at the same time, seeing what they're doing well, what they're not doing well, incorporating those. You see a lot of home builders, have, communities or floor plans, large galleries, with those images. Those can really kind of bog down and slow down a site. And so it's really important, people are in the mindset of, fast now. And so you want to be able to provide people what they're looking for, because once you get them on your site, you have a very short window to capture their attention before they bounce and leave. And so you will really want to maximize each visitor that you do get to your website. Really make sure you're showcasing your story in the right way, providing really easy paths to get the information the users are looking for, and do it in a great, fast way that really showcases your business over competitors.
Yes. So you brought up an excellent point. So obviously, user experience is really important, which ties directly into the second point we were talking about is how fast is your website loading? And if you think about yourself, and when you're scrolling through internet and you find something you're looking for, if you click on it, and if it's not loading within seconds, all right, I would say 3 seconds, milliseconds. Yeah, you're okay. I'm on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really important, as you mentioned, Josh, especially with all the media that we have living on our website, all the virtual tours, videos, photos. I mean, all of that can really slow down the website if it's not done properly. So it is important to evaluate what that looks like from the user's experience. If they're sitting there and waiting for the site to load, it's like downloading. It takes me back to like the dial-up internet days, right? Like when we used to sit around and actually wait for a website to load for 5-10 minutes, and it was normal. Right? It's definitely not the case now. So Josh, I know that you're more on the marketing side, so I don't know if you know the technicalities of this, but what are do you have any ideas to what are first things that somebody can look at to check the speed? And if there's an issue, what are the corporates typically?
Sure. And, this is a real kind of techie, dev heavy kind of update. So it's not, adding a security certificate or making it mobile friendly. And so, there's a lot to this to really unpack it. And, that's why it's real important to have a great, technology partner or, internal resource that's really kind of helping look out for these things and guide, these things. And so, having a great partner looking out for them, most of the time you don't get as much advance kind of notice with a lot of these updates, and so that's kind of one telling factor. And another is they've really put out a lot of resources from their standpoint of letting people see where they stand, how they can make some fixes. So there's a ton of great resources, from web.dev to page speed insights to information in your search console. There's a lot of great information out there to be able to help identify what's going on with your website, and how you can make some changes to really put yourself in a great position to take advantage of the opportunity here.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the last change, and that's HTTPS, the security. So for those of us who are not super techy, can you break it down in simple layman's terms? What the heck does it mean?
Well, obviously security is, very real important. You see a lot of, things out in the news even right now this week with, cyber hacking out there and taking down large sites, shutting down, pipelines and meat processing, facilities. And so what is a, small mom and pop really to do with that? And so, that's kind of where we, touched on a little earlier there, of having a great person in helping kind of guide you from a technical standpoint, having a partner, like a private hosting versus public hosting, keeping things secure, making sure a lot of the, say JavaScript on, the website and the files are secure as well. And, continually checking and monitoring those things to keep you protected from that, because that can cost a business quite a bit of money. And your personal information, your customer information, is one of the most valuable things a business has. And so you want to obviously protect that, keep that secure as well, because that obviously helps kind of give you a little bit of bump at the same time.
Yes, and I think the easy way to check for the basics is, when you're looking on your browser, does it have that HTTPS?
Or the little padlock,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. And I think now it actually tells you, if you go to a website that is not secure, it just tells you right there in that HTTP space is that this website is not secure. Now, a lot of builders may say, well, this is typically for if I'm processing credit cards, etc., which I'm not doing. But the reality of the situation is, even if you're not taking payments on your website, even if it's just accepting a form from somebody with their name and email address, and even if you're not doing that, which I hope you are, regardless of that, Google is making a hard stance. They're drawing a line in the sand, and they're saying, hey, if your website is not secure, then you're going to go way down in ranking. And so just for that, even if you are not doing any transactions on your website, you want to make sure that you do have a secure website, that your customers feel comfortable browsing, and obviously you want to make sure that you are ranking where you should be ranking, and not making simple little mistakes like this, and suddenly you're being penalized for it. And I know from personal experience with cyber attacks, I mean, even somebody like me is constantly under attack for my website. I constantly get notifications that, hey, somebody is trying to log in. So there are some ways you can protect your website and limit the number of logins. You can put some other restrictions in place. And so I've taken those steps myself, and happy to say, I mean, knock on wood, so far it's been working. So no hacking.
Yes, you do have to be vigilant with that, and it comes down to little things when you're looking to make a purchase, or buy a house from one company over the other. It's some of those little things that can put you over the top, or cost you a potential new client if one site's secure and another one's not, and a lot of other things might be equal. That's going to weigh somebody to one side over the other. And so outside of keeping things protected, getting a little bump, and all those things, it helps set you apart, and differentiates you, and that one little thing might be something outside of all those others that help win you some new business, or get you at that new client.
Absolutely. And let's face it, the cost to protect your website with the SSL certificate is like $100, or it's really inexpensive. So if you don't already have that, make sure you reach out to your web person so that they take care of that for you, so that you're ready for this next update. And again, I think going forward, you'll see that client or user experience is going to play bigger and bigger role in everything that we do. Everything is about client experience, right? We've flipped completely upside down, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing for our clients. And now the partners like Google are expecting that we are providing that customer first service to them. So Josh, thanks so much for being on today and for discussing the three major changes coming June. Is there anything else that we need to know when it comes to Google as we wrap things up here?
Just, it's more important, than ever to continually, monitor the website and keep it up to date. Used to be more of a, you build it and you're done. And, that's not necessarily the case, because we really see websites as, kind of a car with that needs maintenance. You can keep, run that car for a while without any kind of maintenance, but pretty soon it's going to break down, and it's going to be more costly than if you'd have kept up that maintenance with, keeping the tires, rotated, and the oil changes and all those things. And so you really want to, make sure you have a great, partner or somebody really looking out for you in that effort to help, put you at the forefront of that, and so you don't get behind the curve, and and stay, protected and secure, and out in front of all these changes here.
Yes, and as a final thought, I'd like to say that we as home building industry spend so much money on advertising and promoting our services, and we're shouting our message about our fabulous homes. And last thing you want to do is for Google to hide you, despite all of your efforts, just because you're not following some of those rules. So again, make sure that your site is mobile friendly, and when you're designing a site, that's probably mobile friendly first, and then desktop. Second thing is, how fast is your site loading? And lastly, is your site secure? So be sure to pay attention to those changes and get in touch with your web person so they can assist you in this. Thanks so much for being on today's webcast, Josh. I appreciate your time, and we will talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.